Help me to reach 2,000 subscribers. The sound of laughter came from the backyard. A deep, familiar laugh that didn't belong to my husband alone. I froze mid-step, holding the tray of lemonade, my pulse beating hard in my throat. It was his laugh too. Eric, our neighbor, the same man who fixed our fence every month. I moved closer to the kitchen window, the lace curtain brushing my wrist. They were sitting too close. Michael's hand brushed Eric's knee as they laughed, and then, my breath caught. His fingers stayed there. A pause. A knowing look. The kind of silent electricity that had once existed between Michael and me, before routine and silence replaced it. The tray slipped from my trembling hands, the glass shattering against the tiles. Outside, their laughter died instantly. "Clara?" Michael called, his voice sharp with concern. "Are you okay?" I swallowed the scream clawing its way up my throat. "Yeah," I said, my voice trembling. "Just dropped something." The clinking glass seemed louder than my heartbeat. I crouched down, picking up shards as if piecing together the life that had just split in front of me. That night I couldn't sleep. Every sound in the dark carried meaning. Michael's even breathing beside me, the faint buzz of his phone lighting up on the nightstand. I turned toward it, my chest tight. A message flashed on the screen before disappearing. "Good night, M." I told myself it could be anyone. Could. But why was his phone locked now when it never used to be? The next morning he kissed my cheek, like he always did before work. I caught the faintest whiff of cedarwood, the same scent Eric used when he came by to fix things. "Fence still holding up?" Michael asked casually over breakfast. "Yeah," I said, forcing a smile. Though I think Eric mentioned needing to look at it again soon. He looked up a bit too quickly, his spoon pausing mid-air. "Did he?" I nodded, studying his face. That fleeting tension in his eyes told me everything. Over the next few days I watched. Not in a paranoid, frantic way, but like a scientist studying a pattern she wished she hadn't found. Michael started coming home later. He claimed late meetings, new projects. But he'd shower immediately, even before hugging me. His shirt smelled faintly of smoke. Eric smoked. One evening, I walked out to the backyard just as Eric hopped the fence, landing lightly on our side. His hair was damp, his shirt sticking to his chest. He looked startled when he saw me. "Clara." "Sorry, Michael asked me to check the panel again. Said it was getting loose." I glanced at the fence. It was fine. Perfectly fine. "Sure," I said softly. "You two seem to spend a lot of time fixing that fence." His jaw tightened, his blue eyes flicking toward the house. "It's tricky wood, right?" I murmured. "Tricky wood." For a long, waited second, we stood there in silence. The smell of fresh-cut grass, the hum of cicadas, the invisible wall of guilt hanging between us. By the end of the week, I couldn't hold it in anymore. I told myself I'd wait, gather proof, confront him calmly. But when I found a second toothbrush in Michael's gym bag, my restraint broke. When he came home that night, I was sitting at the table with it placed in front of me. He froze in the doorway. "Clara, what? Whose is it?" His throat bobbed. "Mine. You already have one here." Silence. His eyes flicked to the toothbrush, then to me. I laughed, a dry, broken sound. "You could have picked anyone, Michael. Anyone. But him." He closed his eyes. "It wasn't supposed to happen. That's what they all say." My voice cracked. 15 years, Michael. 15 years of dinners, bills, vacations, and you fall for the man who fixes our fence. He sat down slowly, his face pale. "It started months ago. We were drinking after work. Eric stopped by to help with the porch light. One thing led to another, and you couldn't stop." He didn't answer. The silence filled with everything unsaid. The years of fading intimacy, the unspoken loneliness, the way we'd both started living parallel lives without noticing. I wanted to hate him. I wanted to scream, but all that came out was a whisper. "Do you love him?" Tears welled in his eyes. "I don't know." That was worse than a yes. I didn't throw him out that night. I didn't even cry. I just lay awake, staring at the ceiling while he packed a small bag. When the front door clicked shut, I finally broke. The next morning, Eric was standing at the fence, his eyes red, his hands trembling. "I'm so sorry, Clara," he said quietly. "I never meant to hurt you." I looked at him, the man who'd shared coffee with me, fixed my garden gate, waved from across the lawn like family. "Then why did you?" He swallowed hard. He understood me. I didn't think anyone did. A bitter laugh escaped me. "You both thought the same thing." He reached for my hand, but I stepped back. "Don't," I said. "You've done enough." Weeks passed. The fence still stood tall between our yards, its fresh paint bright under the sun. Michael moved out. Eric stopped coming by. Sometimes I'd catch myself staring at that fence, tracing its grain with my eyes. It wasn't tricky wood, it was solid, dependable. It had just been used for the wrong purpose. People think betrayal ends with anger, but it doesn't. It ends with emptiness, a slow, quiet fading. One evening, I stood by the window, watching the sunset burn across the sky. For the first time in years, the silence in my house didn't feel like punishment. Felt like peace. And as the orange light hit the fence between our homes, I realized something. It wasn't there to divide anymore. It was there to remind me where the line finally had to be drawn.